Okay, we're live.
This is Bruno LARVOL, the founder of LARVOL Group. We provide data and software for the pharmaceutical industry, in particular in the field of cancer. And once a week, I love having an interview with a friend of LARVOL, someone who might be in the healthcare industry or might be in a different industry, but someone who has an interesting story to tell about various topics. It could be about business, it could be about leadership, like today's podcast. It could be about art sometimes. Today, we're meeting with Jean Clauteaux, who's an entrepreneur and a business person who I know for a couple of years. We initially met in social media, and then we got the chance to meet in Paris, and we became friends. He has a wonderful story, both a life story and a professional journey. And I'm so happy to interview him today. So, Jean, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Bruno. This is a real pleasure to connect again on our own metaverse because we are always connected together.
That is right. We are both big on the metaverse. So when we meet, most of the time it is avatar to avatar, and we actually met avatar to avatar many times. Even if in person we actually met only once.
Only
But
once, and
but
even after met as avatars. Yeah.
yes. So the way we structure it typically is the following. I'd like first to talk about your life journey without talking about business, and I think you have some super interesting story about where you grew up. In particular, a story about a little trip in the Amazon forest that was quite eventful. So we can talk about that. Then we can talk about your business adventures and what led you to now settle in Spain for the next stage of your career, of your business adventure. And then at the end, I always like to each host to give a takeaway, a phrase or a sentence that our audience can remember. So you can start thinking about that memorable advice to our listeners. So to start with, tell us about your where you grew up, and maybe even touch on that Amazon forest episode that I'm referring to.
Yes, but my mother, she's native Indian from the rainforest, and my dad was a philosopher, anthropologist. So they met at the university, and they decided in the 70s to raise the family in the rainforest, to raise the family between Brazil and Venezuela, the border between these two countries in the rainforest, where there is no borders, in fact. And at the beginning, it was really tough because there is no economy, or not the same economy as we have in the developed world. So my dad started to look after diamonds and gold. So we start to be gold and diamond prospectors in the rainforest on a very green, ecologic, and sustainable way. At that time, my dad and my mom were visionaries about the respect of nature and bringing add value to the communities at that time. So it was an amazing adventure where you start to understand why it's so important to build long-term relationships, because in the rainforest you need each other, you need human beings to survive. So that was a very important part of my life and my childhood and the first young years before 18 years old. Yeah.
Jean, when I was a kid, I wanted to become a movie director, and I think the story of your life is probably a movie that someone has to make. I'm thinking about the Royal Tannenbaum in the forest or something. There is a movie to be made there, Jean. This is maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it.
we are doing the movie because now we are part of each other's story. This is amazing. So very happy to be in this with you.
And so in the rainforest, how old were you when you had that little adventure with your brother?
Yes, we were lost in the rainforest during so many days and nights. It was amazing because we learned how to survive far away from any kind of support from the civilization. So we stay some days and nights. Living thanks to nature, thanks to our ability and soft skills to understand where we can find water and some food. And we had this experience being a young teenagers lost in the rainforest of what was the beginnings of human beings of our species, no, of being in part depending on our skills to decode nature, to understand signals, to understand where is the food and where is the water, and most of all is the psychological effect of being lost in the rainforest. It was you are right. This was a very very strong experience. How to understand complexity of being even in the worst situation. Everything is about your mind and your mind balance and your capacity to say no to fear. That was the outcome of this adventure.
Uh, Jean, how old were you, and how old was your brother, and how many days were you lost?
Um, uh, we were lost 11 days, and I was 12, and Pierre was 10 years old. Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, um, did you, if you don't mind, let me. Did you think you might die?
Yes, because you're right. The 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 difference between being alive and death is very teeny. Is few millimeters of having some mistakes during the this long walk, because you can, if you are lost and you stay hours without food or without hydration, you die. So yes, we are. You are in this kind of situations. You are in relation with the death every second, every step in that kind of environment. Yes.
So what did you eat? And so you were able to drink. So drinking was not the big
Drinking
problem,
could be
right?
a problem because there is no water everywhere. Huh? You can find
Right.
some drops because we call it the rainforest, but finding a proper river or some water, a pure water source, it could be complex. So you have to understand the shape of the mountains, the shape of, because the visibility is very low because you are inside the trees. Huh? You are
Right.
in the middle of this cathedral of trees. And food is very complicated because you can be poisoned if you have some mistakes about fruits, about flowers, about some roots. We succeed to have we were lucky because we found some eggs from birds. And it helped a lot. This protein helped us a lot, and some flowers, some cayenne domestic flowers that you can eat to have some sugar in your blood. But it was complicated. After 3 days, it's very complicated to survive. Yeah.
Okay. A movie has to be made just about that part, Jean. This is now your parents. Did they send a search party to find you? They must have been so scared. I mean, I cannot imagine. Uh,
Yes, at that time in the 80s, there is no WhatsApp, there is no emails, there is no internet. At that place, there is no phone, there is no TV, there is a little bit radios and army forces. So yes, they started after 3 days. It was a big issue to look for some help from the communities. All the native Indians communities were in alert to look after these two kids, these lost two kids. It was a nightmare. Yes.
How,
I regret at the time technology, but we invented after our
yeah.
adventure.
Yeah, you're. I mean, again, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of your parents, and I would have been. I would not have known what to. Well, first, I would have been immensely grateful that the two of you survived. I would also be mad that this happened.
Yeah.
But so we cannot be mad at you for having survived. Um, but it would be it would have been such a complex emotion for me. I can imagine being in that situation. Um, so
Yeah, so of course they were mad, really mad.
yeah,
But the relief is so enormous that you can
of course,
compensate how mad you are. So,
right,
and it's a miracle when
yeah,
you find a way back, because we
yeah,
found the way back to home. That's why home is so important, and we exchange a lot about home, even on management purposes. Home is our companies must be the place that you
yeah.
want to be, and home was a relief, and the memory, the need of being home was maybe the biggest compass beacon that you can have in these situations.
Yeah, we might talk about home in a different sense in a moment with, in a way, virtual homes and the metaverse as a place, not as a technology. But before getting there, tell us now the rest, maybe of your life journey and how you ended up back in Europe, back in Spain.
Yes, but Spain is a very, very interesting ecosystem that I am discovering now. The Costa Blanca and Barcelona, Valencia, Javia. You are. It's a little bit the Silicon Valley in the 70s, with a lot of entrepreneurs talking to each other. Very few. There is no corporations yet, so you have more these scale ups, small scale ups, on a very entrepreneur way. So this is really interesting as an ecosystem. So in December, I met in Paris the team of Union Avatars. So they asked me to come on 28th of December to visit them at Barcelona, and I stay in Barcelona. So it was a little bit okay. We will stay here with two t-shirts and two trousers and and one small handbag, and we stay in Barcelona. Then we migrate to Valencia, and now I am in Javia. I joined the community of Jessica Bataille in Javia. So it's an amazing adventure. But you are in this Silicon Valley, the Costa Blanca Valley of the 70s.
Yes.
It's very interesting to discover how an ecosystem of business is taking place here. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, I will be in Paris. I won't make it to Spain next week for
Wow.
the Paris Blockchain Week, but I'm sure we'll see each other soon in the metaverse or otherwise. Uh, Now, I know you had something else very interesting about your career, is that you both know the world of big companies,
Yeah.
and also you know the world of entrepreneurial endeavors. And it's not that easy for someone who had a full career in big companies with budgets and administration uh, to then move to the sort of the area of bootstrapping and the tough practicality of startup. Of course, if you survived the 11 days when you were 12-year-old in the rainforest with your little brother, you know about practicality forever. But tell us about that part for a second, and then we'll talk. Then I want to hear more about Union Avatar.
The point of corporations is you are learning a lot. You learn how to collaborate, how to sell your ideas, and you have this huge organization around you to help you try and survive without big consequences. I think the best way understand a career in a corporation as L'Oréal, because I was during close to 20 years an executive in L'Oréal, is an MBA, is the real MBA, in fact, because you are really having many missions. You learn how to be humble, how to what could be a journey as a learning adventure. So how to start as a sales representative, then a product manager, then manager, etc., etc. So the point of embracing complexity without the pressure that you can have in a startup is very interesting. And I think people must consider in between making an MBA, a very expensive MBA. I think it's more interesting to be an employee in a very well-structured company as L'Oréal, because you learn a lot, and it will be very, very important tools for the next steps. Then the startup world, to me, it was a kind of detox approach of the corporation world. So to learn how the money is your money, how sometimes is between life and death of the company, because any mistake could be very, very definitive mistake. So and the pressure on the founders, I think. To be an entrepreneur is the hard way to learn business. So, but to me, it's part of my life, even when I was in a corporate world. So I am very happy to balance these two experiences. I think each one of us, we have our own timing, and we have to trust the timing. And the timing could be as an employee in a corporation, could be as an entrepreneur, could be as a startupper. The timing is your timing. But the point of being humble, of learn to embrace complexity, how to be very, very hands-on, to have hands-on everything, every detail is so important. You cannot be so specialized and say, no, this is not for me. You have to be everywhere as a generalist. And I think this is the outcome of these first 26 years of my professional life.
You are a wonderful example that proved me wrong in some ways. We all have biases. And one of my biases is that if someone works too many years in a big corporation, it's too much to unlearn to move in an entrepreneurial environment. And this was I would say, a blind spot of mine to think that way. You are a wonderful counterexample, showing that if you want to, you absolutely can use what you learn, but also unlearn things that you need to change in order to be successful and in order to have a great entrepreneurial adventure. So thank you for making me realize that this was a prejudice. You're a wonderful example of that.
Thank you, Bruno. Yes. I think it takes time. When I start to think about being an entrepreneur from the company sides, when I was an employee, and the dream is to be an entrepreneur, is to create your own company. Many friends told me, Jean, take care, because you have to realize that it's not at all the same way of doing business, of managing even your personal life. And when you are an employee, you think, I am working too much, too long hours, I am a workaholic. And then you understand that this is nothing compared to being an entrepreneur, because you are not workaholic. Your work is your 100% of your life. So there is no more difference there is no holidays, there is no weekends. And so that's why it's so important when you start to be an entrepreneur, to balance, to have a very, very functional home, family value, to be even your health is so important, because your body is your work, your body is your office. So you have no holidays, no weekends. So your body is your office. So you have to take care about yourself as an athlete. It's like being in the Olympics all the day long and all the year long. So this is very interesting.
And you mentioned the family side, and at times there are tension that comes naturally from someone in one family deciding to take to start their own business and take the entrepreneurial route, because, as you said, it's so it takes so much of your energy and you're focused. In the image that comes to my mind is, I'm from Brittany in France, and when a man typically goes at sea, uh, right, un marin, they they
Exact.
they give everything to it. They leave their family to be at sea sometimes for months. And the word of entrepreneurial activity, it's a little bit like being a marin, that way. So at times, I'm sure there are tension. There are certainly in my family, and I'm sure that they are in every family where people are taking that route. And there's also the uncertainty of not knowing the outcome of that adventure. How did that part play for you in your family?
The hard way, because you put everything on the table. You put your money, all your money. You put your friends, because your friends are your first investors. You call this the family friends round. So you put your stuff, and you put your acquaintances. You put all your confidence, the trust that is around you. So you are playing big in this adventure. So the consequences are huge, and you test who you are and who are even your relative, who are what is the real truth of your relationship with your kids, with your couple, your family is in charge of this adventure. So being an entrepreneur is, you have a family, which is, I think, the best way to do it, because you need to be you cannot do it alone. But on the same way is the hard part of this. And I think we talk a lot about investment, about back speech in 5 seconds speech, ideas, brilliant ideas, and the point of being successful at one time. I think it takes 12 years to be real. So I think Larvol is a very good example of these 12 years.
Hmm.
You need to be to start to be sustainable. It takes 12 years. So I am at the middle of this long road, of this walk of 12 years, because I am an entrepreneur since 6 years now. These 12 years is about your mental health, is about who you are as an individual with your loved ones, and how you are making a disclosure about what you are doing. Sometimes the funny part when you are an employee is nobody knows and understand what you are doing at the company. So in your family, nobody knows what you are doing as an employee, because you're a brilliant top executive, and nobody cares, in fact, about your meetings, and you don't want to bring this to the family table. But when you are an entrepreneur, you must bring your ideas to the table. You must
Yeah. Yeah.
collaborate with your family.
Uh, at L'Oréal, so you worked for, of course, one of the most prestigious companies in the world, L'Oréal. You became at the end of your career at L'Oréal, you became the CEO of I think two countries. And what that make me think is that in the first part of our careers, often we are successful because we are very attuned to what people think about us, about our performance, and in a way, we care a lot about what they think, especially our manager, but also our colleagues. Right? Our reputation is very important. The way they perceive us is very important, and in some ways, in the second part of our career, to get to the next level, and especially in an entrepreneurial environment, we need to reverse that. We need to not care anymore. You see what I mean? About what they
Correct.
think. And that's not easy, right? We need to say, well, people might think I'm stupid,
Is the
right?
exact.
And that's
You are
okay.
correct. Exactly. That this is it. You have to focus on you. It's like an athlete. Is you are playing the Olympics, you cannot care about the other athletes and what people think about you. You have to focus on your training program. Otherwise, you will never beat the record. Huh? So
That- that-
it's a very
That's right.
personal journey. It's true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, Jean, we could spend hours, and I always love discussing with you. And so in the last 4 minutes, maybe we can talk about a topic that in itself could take hours of discussion, which is the metaverse, or virtual reality.
Ooh.
So tell us a bit more about Union Avatar and what you do and about the metaverse.
The point of the metaverse is the avatar, so it means is you. And metaverse is internet, is the third step of internet, and you need to be you. And the big step now we are facing is you are important. It's no more about your audience to have followers on a screen on Instagram or LinkedIn. Is to be you yourself. Is to have your space. Is to bring your authenticity, your contents, your stories as we start this podcast. And this is new for the people who are not remembering how was the world before internet, the world of storytelling, of empathy, of eye connection, eye contact, face-to-face meetings. So you is the middle, is the center of this new big step of the internet, what we call the metaverse. So as you are so important, so your avatar means your virtual you, with your stuff, with your knowledge, with your accessories, is so important. Your face, the way that you interact with others on the other side is key. So that's why Union Avatar is making the big part of the wallet of who you are as a wallet, including blockchain inside, who you are as a content manager of your own content, and how you become your own app on the metaverse. That's why Union Avatar to me is so important.
Because ultimately it's about people. Not only it's about people, it's about you, right? The metaverse is a place, but a place without you as a person is not a place. And an avatar is a person with a headset on. This is why some of the question, for example, about what is the etiquette, what is the personal space, what is the behavior that we should have when we are in avatar, in the metaverse, are so interesting. And what are even our rights as a
Correct.
as an avatar, right? Would Zuckerberg prevent us to bring who we are by looking the way we want to look in his metaverse, right? That's and that's, I mean, and so the way Union Avatar is building these universal avatars is, I think, is going to be so interesting. Yeah.
Interoperability is key. It's true.
Hmm,
I know.
certainly. So, Bruno, so sorry for the interruption. Time is of the essence here. Just wanted to let you all know we just have a minute left
Okay.
before the stream ends. So
Thank you very
we can
much
go
for
to
the
the talk.
reminder. And we didn't talk about Yorigi, your other adventure. Maybe we'll do another one just on Yorigi
Yes.
itself. Any final thought, sentence, takeaway, Jean, for today?
Imagination makes action possible. Never forget that if you are not in an imagination mood of your life, it means dreaming, designing, thinking about what do you want with others, with your business, with your company, with your ideas, is impossible to transform it in action. So there is no outcome or success without imagination. So focus on imagination. Take time to take time to dream, to draw, to write, to meditate about what do you want, and things will happen.
Wonderful. Terrific. And right on time. Jean, merci. Au revoir. Et
Au
à la semaine
revoir.
prochaine. See
Merci
you
Bruno.
next week, everybody. Thanks.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
See you guys. Thank you very much, John.